I would have liked a nice leg of lamb.
Don't you think you've already eaten enough?
Huh? Well, I think I would have preferred some hot food, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a burger or something. Ready-made from the fast food place next door.
Ready-made, sure, but from what?
You know, ready-made hot food has been around since the days of Homo erectus.
Who's that?
The ape men.
You'd have probably felt right at home with them, you two.
Well, when we've finished here with our lunch, we can go in and talk about it. Well, 700 to 800,000 years ago, Homo erectus was the first ape man to stand upright. So there's the fast food option back at that time. They didn't have fire, nor did they farm, nor hunt, and food was rare. But they had a sense of community and shared what they had.
Well, luckily it's completely different today. Everyone can go to the supermarket and get what they feel like.
Is that what you think? Let me tell you about that. Fewer than 20% of the world's population consume 80% of its products.
It's true, some people eat too much, and badly. In the United States, 40% of the population are obese, especially amongst the poor in New Orleans. And more than 30% in other cities.
Yes, obesity has become a problem for the poor. And there are a lot of poor people in the world. The rich can afford to eat properly.
And nothing's being done to help these poor people?
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of organizations, UNESCO, UNICEF, and many others. But these have very little effect, given the needs of the poor.
But what are they doing? How do we get to this situation? There's a surplus of food? And we're just dumping it? That's just crazy.
What do you think, eh?
It's actually because the surplus production in the world and the resulting low prices mean small farmers can no longer provide for their families. And so they protest. And in less developed countries, where they haven't got such good soil, sophisticated tools, or money for fertilizers, small farmers can't make a living either. And then there are the hot countries, where it rains so little that the earth turns to dust or sand or even desert. And so, the vast majority of people in those countries find it even harder to live.
But there are some who are always much smarter than others.
Yeah, it's true that some people are luckier than others. But of course, there are many other reasons.
Yeah, there are also people who are hardworking and those who are lazier. And as Peter said, not all the land is the same. Some more fertile, other less productive. Then there's land with reserves of gold, or even better, oil. But over time, the gap between the rich and the not-so-rich is widening.
And in the end, that will mean very few rich people and a lot of very poor people.
You're right, kids. And I'm proud of you. Things are even more complicated than it seems.
And are there any possible solutions, Maestro?
Of course, my dear, of course. We'll look into this a bit further. We've already talked a lot about poor people, the less poor, the starving, and those who eat well. How about we take a closer look? And we can talk later.
That's a great idea!
Here we go again. All we seem to do is talk.
Don't you know that's exactly what's done by many organizations and states? When there are these kind of problems, they talk. So, kids, where would you like to go?
There's so much poverty and misery. I wouldn't know where to start.
How about we visit Africa?
Great idea! And we've got friends there.
Africa it is then. First, to find out about what happens in other places, let's take a look at the report Munya and Simon made following their visit to Mexico.
Oh, you know, it's always the same. We never go where I want to go.
Like hundreds of thousands of poor Mexicans each year, these two young farmers in a bar near the border want to cross over to the land of their dreams, the United States.
We were just sitting there on those stools. But how do we do it? We don't know the area. And on the other side, they say there are 20,000 guards patrolling day and night. Yeah, and the word is they're pretty hostile.
Hey, listen. I just hear you guys talking right now, and I might be able to help you. Gramacito at your service. Nice to meet you.
Yes, for sure.
Pleasure.
But it will cost you, amigos.
How much? No, that's robbery.
Hey, nothing is for free in this world, amigo. Once across, I have a friend who will take you to San Diego in his car. You know, you really should make your minds up. Our neighbors are building an enormous wall all along the border. And after they do that, you will be out of luck forever, amigos.
All right, and you can guarantee us a safe passage?
It's the best route, guaranteed. There, that's the USA. Behind those sandy hills, you'll find an old hut with a path leading to it. It's there my friend is waiting with his car. Come on, get going. We can't hang around here.
There is no car. We've been cheated. Let's walk down the path. Perhaps it's gonna turn up. We'll show those chicos they just can't stroll across our border, right? Yeah. And right now is the perfect opportunity to catch guys who slip across at night.
Welcome home then, guys. Well, you were lucky this time.
Don't try it again. So that's the story. But if I ever see that little thief again...
So that's what most of the desperate Mexicans who every year try to reach the United States to make a living and support their families can expect.
It seems it could have turned out even worse than it did.
Why don't people want to help others who have nothing?
Because nobody wants to have poverty on their doorstep.
That's true. Even Europe defends itself with barriers to stop poor people from Africa from crossing its borders. And poor, barren Botswana has itself just built an electrified fence to prevent the even poorer Zimbabweans from crossing the border. And you know, I could give you so many other examples, but that's enough for now. We could all do with a change of scenery. Are you ready? Let's go to Africa. All aboard!
I'm Dithu, your guide. Your cars are waiting.
Here we are in Mali. It's a poor country. And too many people go hungry here. Is everything I asked for in the cars?
Yeah, of course. Take a look.
That's great. Let's get moving.
Okay.
Bye.
Those goats over there are probably the wealth of the entire village.
This is true poverty. All these people are waiting for food aid.
What can we do? We can't help them all, but I'd like to speak to her. Hello? Can we talk for a minute? It's for our newspaper, so can I ask you how you spend your day? Oh, finding food, preparing it, looking after my baby, going to get water. That takes up all my time, you know. Is the water far from the village? Oh, no. 3 kilometers. Is there anything you would like to have done? To have gone to school and have learned. Almost none of us women here can read or write. And because of that, no one shows us any respect. I'm learning in secret. And when my child grows up, I'll study. But you look so young. How old are you? 16. My parents married me at 13. Wait there. Come in our car, and we'll take you and your baby back home.
Hi.
Perhaps this will give you a little bit of time to study.
Can you imagine becoming ill here? One local doctor for 40,000 inhabitants. And even then, how many kilometers away?
You really get the feeling that without international aid, this village couldn't survive.
It's not a feeling. The village is dying, like so many others have already.
So what can we do except let people know? There are countless villages just like this all over Africa. Now, Burkina Faso isn't far away, and there's a village there I'd like to see. Okay? Right. Let's go.
Welcome, foreign visitors.
Tell me, what are those young people doing?
They're building little dikes so that when it starts to rain, it will seep into the ground rather than just running off down the slope.
Very good. Very good. What a great example of terrace farming. Well done.
All the men of the village are working on this land, which actually isn't theirs. They'll move on to another section, and then another. In this way, the arable land ends up being farmed, and the food is shared by all.
Well done. Well done. What an excellent method. Do you see? They're using an ancient system. Share and share alike.
And what are they doing there?
Those holes are called zais. They'll fill them with natural manure, and when the rain comes, they'll plant seeds in them which will germinate and grow.
Exactly what we must do.
Our cotton plantations. But now the harvest is finished, and our cooperative will process the cotton for export.
I suppose the United States are tough competitors for you, right?
Tough? Their growers are subsidized to the tune of $1 per kilo produced, so they can even sell at a loss. They're already been paid. Not us.
And so, how do you manage to survive?
$1 is a lot of money for us. And this cotton supports 2 million of us.
Stop your silly games. So now we're in Niger, one of the poorest countries in the world. Oh, just look at these young women. They must have nearly 7 or 8 children each. The summer was dry, and then billions of locusts attacked the poor harvest. They didn't leave a single leaf on the trees. So how do you expect these people to get by?
So who has the means to buy anything here?
Going cheap. Going cheap.
I hope the friends we are going to visit in the Sahel are doing better than the people we've seen so far.
Look over there. I think that's our village.
So, how are things in the village?
We all suffered greatly from the drought, and then there was a swarm of locusts, each one as big as my thumb. The sky was black with them. But, well, we'll get over it.
Wait a minute. You aren't cutting the trees down, are you? Just remember, their roots hold back the water and sand. Without them, all this will turn into desert.
We haven't forgotten your advice.
Well, I didn't think you had, actually. Good. Well, enough of that. We have brought you some presents. Here you have some cereals, a range of dried meat and medicine, and here you have some young saplings to plant to help protect you from desertization. Then there are fertilizers and seeds, all for you. And I have 2 surprises for you. That's a solar oven for you. No need for wood to cook food anymore, and it's easy to set up. And we bought you a solar panel. be amazed this evening. Uh-huh. Well, children, this time you've seen poverty and hunger at first hand. What conclusions have you drawn for your newspaper?
I think it's essential the rich nations cancel the debt of developing nations. That money will be more useful to them than it will to the world's banks.
Yeah, and they've already canceled the debt of the 18 poorest countries. In other words, a whole 1% of the money owed. Generous, aren't they? If we look at Kenya, for example, it receives 100 million in aid a year, but pays 600 million to service its debt. How does anyone expect it to get by?
When people have nothing left to eat where they are, they'll rebel. They'll head off and start to look for food wherever it is at any cost.
So what's a better way for them to live? Locked away in fortified compounds?
Sao Paulo in Brazil, one of the most heavily populated cities in the world, has a shantytown of 3 million inhabitants. 3 million poor people in a single place. And what's being done for them?
We have to make an urgent appeal to all developed countries to give more.
Poverty is an international problem. We have to help these people feed themselves, clothe themselves, and with their housing.
And develop education systems that will be so vital in their countries.
But it's not just material aid they need to make progress. We have to teach them techniques, supply them with tools, and give them subcontracting work so they can learn.
Yeah, there's a Chinese proverb that says it's better to teach someone to fish than give them a fish. We gotta wake the world up and raise world awareness to this.
Many organizations in the world and many people are already fighting for this, and we must all take part in this struggle. So go write your newspaper articles now and be persuasive. It's vital not to leave any unluckier part of humanity by the wayside, because the world's stability is at stake.